Shola Adisa Farrar, she's an American jazz artist who lives in Paris, France, and famously known for her performances with French music composer Florian Pellissier's Quintet. I caught up with her last week, and this is how it went. The first question I have, looking at you, my God, you seem very young, but then the kind of music that you're doing, jazz, why jazz? Because most artists in your age group would be doing pop music, but why did you just decide to do jazz music?
Well, jazz is a base, I think, that really came from the United States, and I grew up listening to jazz as well as reggae just because of my background, and so it was something that, it was the first way that I learned how to sing. I learned how to sing by using jazz standards, and so it felt like a good opening to kind of begin my music career. And when I moved to France, France has a very big appreciation for jazz music as well, so it was something, a way for me to express my voice and to sing, and people already have an understanding of what I would be able to do. So this is kind of how it started.
Don't know what this is, don't know what this is, but I don't care, not going nowhere.
Jazz is not a very common genre of music on the African continent, but so far you've been able to perform in Botswana, Mauritius, and even right now you're in the Republic of Congo. But what do you make of jazz music on the African continent? Is the audience in Africa receptive to this kind of music?
Well, first of all, I would say jazz is a really big word, and so there's different ways that we use it, and I think the way it's evolving, jazz is always an experimental music form, and so I would say I'm not straight ahead jazz, which is a certain type that most people, when they think of jazz, they think about Ella Fitzgerald or Miles Davis or somebody like that. And so I think now jazz music incorporates a lot of other elements, and as I said, I have a Jamaican background, so I like to incorporate reggae into music, or I was also raised during kind of a hip-hop era, so there's another type of drum kick that I would like to hear as well. And so I think that way to bring what already exists in a country or in a city and incorporate that genre into the jazz music makes it more accessible to everybody. And so I think that's one of the things that can make the music that I want to do and that I'm doing unique and more accessible to people who don't know who I am or who don't speak my language, is that there's another element that I think people can identify with instead of it just being like, okay, this is jazz music, the, you know, kind of the way we think about it traditionally.
You've just talked about Jamaican, and then it's you've blended
genres.
For example, reggae and jazz, which seems quite interesting. So what inspires you, or who inspires you when you're composing your songs?
I'm inspired just by my identity and my travel experiences. Actually, moving to France helped me realize that I could really illuminate all of the elements of who I am and create something special, that I didn't have to stay within one particular genre and only say this is what I do, because actually I don't call myself a jazz singer. The music, this album that I released, has jazz elements to it, but I'm so open to different types of art forms that I wouldn't want to contain myself just to one genre.
I arrived here from miles and miles away. The universal mind is our revolution.
So what should the world expect from you next?
Well, I'm working on another album, and as I said, I really like mixing genres, and so you can hear a little bit of that in this first album, but I want to push that a little bit further as well, and also have something more lively and that really expresses my personality and some of my travel experiences. So.
Wow, thank you very much, Shola, and wishing you all the best in your career.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.